This video is brought to you by True Tales of Buried Treasure, the largest collection of old treasure magazines in the West. We're pleased to announce that we are now selling our physical magazines directly on our website. You can browse by magazine title or search for a particular issue using the search bar. To pay us a visit, please click the link in the description. Enjoy.
The White River ran slow and dark beneath the bluffs, its current whispering through reeds and shadowed bends as it had long before the first white man ever laid eyes upon its banks. There, where the cliffs rose steep and broken above the eastern fork, lay McBride's Bluff, a lonely place, cut off from the world and heavy with the weight of forgotten years. It was said that the gold came with the Choctaws, long before the frontier towns had taken root, before the forests echoed with axe and rifle. A band of Choctaw wanderers had broken from their people and drifted westward, driven by hunger, by unrest, or by some quiet call no man could name. They ranged as far as the distant Rockies, and somewhere along that vast and perilous journey, they came into possession of gold, yellow, heavy, and strange to their way of life. They did not squander it, they feared it. Among them was a medicine man, grave and far-seeing, who understood that such wealth did not come without consequence. He took charge of the gold, 3 heavy bags, so the story went, and guarded it as though it were a burden rather than a prize. And when at last the wandering band turned east again, it was under his watchful eye that the treasure traveled. By the year 1720, they had come to the country of the White River, where game was plentiful and the land, though rugged, offered shelter. The Piankashaw people held that ground, yet they allowed the Choctaws to remain. So the wanderers settled among the cliffs and caves of McBride's Bluff, and for a time, there was peace. It was there that the gold was hidden. Not cast aside in haste, nor buried in panic, but secreted away with care, laid beside a great boulder near the river's edge, close to the mouth of a cave. To mark the place, a beech tree was carved with strange symbols, a buffalo, a turtle. Signs meant to endure, though the years would prove otherwise. For 60 seasons and more, the Choctaws lived in that wild country. But the world beyond the forest was changing. In the 1780s, the white man came. With him came confusion, broken promises, and the slow tightening of a noose the Choctaws could neither see nor escape. Friction turned to violence. Raids were answered with retaliation, and in time, the Indiana militia came down upon them with finality. Most of the nomads were killed. A few slipped away into the wilderness, vanishing as quietly as they had once arrived. None returned. The gold remained. Years passed. The beech tree, once carved with care, withered and fell. The river shifted its banks. The caves darkened and deepened with silence. Yet the story endured, passed from one generation to the next, carried in memory long after the land itself had begun to forget. In the 1880s, a descendant of those wandering Choctaws came back to McBride's Bluff from the far-off Indian Territory. He searched the cliffs and the riverbanks, walked the shadowed mouths of caves, and studied the lay of the land as his ancestors had described it. But he found nothing. Others came after him, men drawn by the promise of hidden gold, by the old markings and half-remembered tales. They dug where they could, pried at stone, and sifted gravel from the river's edge. But the bluff gave up no secret. It never had. Now the place lies quiet again, as it did before the wandering Choctaws ever came. A few farmers work the distant land. Fishermen cast their lines in the slow-moving water, and the cliffs stand watch, as they always have, over the hidden depths of McBride's Bluff. Some say the gold is still there. Others say the land itself has claimed it, that whatever power led those wanderers to bury it has seen fit to keep it hidden. But on certain evenings, when the light fades and the river runs black beneath the cliffs, A man might stand alone on that lonely stretch of White River and feel, without knowing why, that something lies waiting beneath the stone, something old and patient and not meant to be found.
Thanks for watching. If you'd like to read the original article or purchase the magazine from which it was taken, please check out our website, truetalesofburiedtreasure.com.